There's a silent truth many ignore. Not all who smile at you wish you well. A Zen master once said, when someone shows you who they are with their actions, do not repaint them with your hopes. This story begins in a small village nestled between quiet mountains, where people knew each other's names but not always their hearts. And in this village lived a young monk named Tao. Tao was gentle, trusting, and deeply devoted to helping others. But his greatest strength, his open heart, was also his greatest vulnerability. He believed everyone had good inside them, and this belief would be tested. One day, a merchant arrived in the village. He was charming, generous with words, and always wore a bright robe that caught the eye. He praised Tao in front of others, donated to the temple, and shared food with the poor. To most, he seemed like a blessing. But the elder monk warned Tao, kindness without consistency is not kindness, it's manipulation. Tao brushed it off. He wanted to believe in goodness, but slowly, signs began to appear. The merchant never listened, only waited for his turn to speak. He asked personal questions, only to later repeat them as jokes in front of others. He gave gifts, but with strings attached, subtle reminders of what he had done for you. And when Tao once said no to a favor, the merchant's smile vanished. That was the moment Tao realized. Not everyone does good to do good. Some do it to own you. If you're the kind of person who's ever been burned by someone you trusted, you're not alone. Hit that subscribe button to protect your peace, because the next lessons will change how you see people forever. Tao began to notice patterns. Every time someone criticized the merchant, they faced sudden misfortunes, lost business, broken friendships, subtle exclusion. The merchant had created a system of fear, cloaked in generosity. He didn't need to yell to be feared. He used whispers. He created loyalty through guilt. And this, the elder monk said, was the first type of person you must never trust, the one who gives so they can control. The second kind? The one who speaks well of everyone to your face, but always seems to carry the latest gossip. One morning, Tao heard the merchant praise a neighbor for her humility. Later that evening, he overheard him laughing about her behind closed doors. The smile was just a tool. These are the people who hug you with one arm and sharpen a knife with the other. Their currency is information, their loyalty to no one. The third kind are the accidental offenders. They always forget your boundaries. They always say, I didn't mean it like that. But they always say it, again and again. They say things that sting and hide behind jokes. They invalidate your emotions by calling them too sensitive. Tao once asked the merchant not to speak of his family publicly. Next gathering, the merchant made it the punchline. These people don't misunderstand. They just don't care. The fourth kind are those who vanish when you need them. They're around during your success. They echo your laughter. But when grief shows up, they disappear like mist. Tao once fell ill. The merchant didn't visit, didn't ask, only returned when Tao recovered, saying, You should have told me, I would have helped. But help, when begged for, isn't compassion, it's performance. Trust isn't measured in celebration, it's revealed in struggle. The fifth kind are masters of obligation. They do things for you and remind you, subtly or loudly, that you owe them. They trap you in a debt of guilt. Tao once borrowed a book from the merchant. Weeks later, he heard the merchant say at a gathering, I even educated the monks. When you feel like saying thank you isn't enough, when gratitude turns into servitude, you're not in a friendship. You're in a contract you never signed. The sixth kind? People who joke about your dreams. They laugh when you talk about opening a meditation center, writing a book, or leaving the village. They say they're just being realistic. But realism without faith is just fear in disguise. Tao once spoke of starting a teaching circle for children. The merchant chuckled. Who'd learn from you? These people don't destroy your dreams with violence. They do it with silence, smirks, and sideways glances. They want you to stay small so they feel big. And the final kind? People who apologize, but never change. Tao confronted the merchant once. He listened, nodded, apologized, and then repeated the same behavior a week later. Some apologies are genuine, but some are rehearsed. They're not bridges, they're bandages. If someone's sorry means nothing changes, then their apology was just a strategy to reset the cycle. Tao withdrew. He didn't confront with anger. He simply stopped sharing, stopped accepting, stopped expecting. He chose silence over performance, distance over drama, not as punishment, but protection. The elder monk told him, sometimes peace isn't gained by adding, it's earned by subtracting. Tao started living by that. He noticed something strange. Without the merchant's presence, his days were quieter, lighter. His laughter felt real again. His boundaries no longer felt like battles. The weight of obligation lifted, and in its place, stillness, space. His spiritual practice deepened, not by force, but by peace, and he realized, trust isn't just about who you allow in, it's about who you stop inviting. The merchant left the village eventually, not with a bang, but with silence. No one chased, no one asked, because those who control with charm leave no legacy, they just fade. Tao didn't hate him, he just let go, not for revenge, but for clarity. He began teaching. Small circles of villagers gathered to hear him, not because he was loud, but because he was kind and consistent. His teachings weren't grand philosophies, they were simple. Trust slowly, observe deeply, detach when necessary. Years passed. Tao became known not for his brilliance, but for his calm. People came not for answers, but to feel safe in his presence. And that, the elder monk once said, is the highest form of wisdom, to make others feel seen without needing to be the center. You may meet many people in your life who wear smiles as shields, who offer help to build a debt, who touch your wounds to keep them open, but you don't need to fight them. You only need to recognize them and leave, quietly, wisely, without hate. Buddhism teaches us not to cling to people, to expectations, to the illusion of who someone might become. Clarity comes when you stop hoping they'll change and start seeing who they've always been. This is not cold, it's warm self-respect. So protect your peace, not by building walls, but by planting gardens inside you so rich in stillness that anything loud, false, or toxic cannot survive there. You owe no one a seat in your sacred space just because they once smiled at your door. Let their absence be your sanctuary. Let your silence be your clarity, and let your peace be your power. And now, I ask you, have you ever trusted someone you now realize showed you all 7 signs? What finally made you walk away? Share your experience in the comments. It might help someone still stuck in confusion. If you'd like a video on how to rebuild trust in yourself after betrayal, drop a "trust heals" in the comments. We might make it next.